First off, it's better to be lucky than good. The Raiders stole that one. The first was a sack on Derek Carr that was a fumble, likely to be returned for at least a touchdown. There was no time between the sack and the fumble, yet somehow forward momentum was stopped. The only defense for that is that this ref crew is very protective of the quarterback. However, the big BS call was the changing of the spot. It was third down and the play resulted in a ruled first down. Somehow, upon review, it got overturned to a fourth down. There was no way in hell replay should have changed that game. It was complete bullshit that the Raiders were somehow still alive to win it. Hey, we're 1-3, but that doesn't feel right. The Raiders defense is awful. 42 points against a rookie quarterback. There were no playmakers and an experienced quarterback would have won this game easy. The gift wrap turnover at the end of regulation was a bad rookie throw. The first pick six went through the hands of the receiver and went right to Garyon Conley. The Raiders lack talent overall, but expect every game to be a shootout. The Raiders defense played like it did the first 3 games, but this time they played Baker Mayfield making his first career start. It wasn't all bad for the Raiders defense. They at least got pretty consistent pressure most of the game. Maurice Hurst, PJ Hall, and Bruce Irvin were able to move Baker Mayfield off of his spot. Mayfield is still a very athletic quarterback and was able to avoid the pass rush most of the time. However, the pressure, particularly up the middle, was able to make things uncomfortable in the pocket. Mayfield completed 51% of his passes. Part of this is because it's his first start, but part of it is also because of the Raiders defense. I don't foresee this being a weekly thing, but it's nice the Raiders can at least have some pass rush. For the Raiders offense, Derek Carr must stop throwing it up against one-on-one coverage, especially on first down. The Raiders offense is rolling and well on their way to put up at least 3 points. He needs to learn to weigh in on risk versus reward. The interceptions the last 2 games were not worth the risk at all. Bryant is extremely talented, but there's no reason to make that throw. It certainly didn't help that the throws were bad and on the inside, but maybe those throws should have been thrown on third down or when the offense isn't moving the ball well. That being said, Derek Carr showed signs of his 2016 self. He carried the team and the offense in an absolute shootout. It seemed like Derek Carr was playing with our hearts on one hand and throwing pinpoint passes with the other. Hopefully, this is a turning point for Derek Carr. He seems to know a lot more about the offense and know where to go. The problem is, he must know when to take risks, but the stats he put up shows just how great he can be. The Browns defense is no joke, and Derek Carr was the reason they won. Derek Carr had plenty of help. Amari Cooper, Marshawn Lynch, Jared Cook, and even Jordy Nelson won their matchups. More importantly, Amari Cooper got involved into the offense. He needs to be targeted at least 3 times in the first quarter just to feel involved. He's far too talented to be left out of the offense, and I think that's what leads to the drops. When he's just running routes all game and the ball suddenly gets into him, that's when the drops occur. He's an absolute playmaker, and good thing happens when the ball is in his hands. It's nice to see the Raiders offense lean more on the running game in the second half. The last 2 games, it seemed that Lynch would start getting it going in the first half, only to get the ball taken out of his hands. Everyone knows Marshawn Lynch gets stronger as the game wears on. That was very clear watching this game. The small gains started to become big gains, and nobody wants to tackle beast mode in the fourth quarter after taking a pounding all game. To build off of the last point, the Raiders finally got balanced in the first and second half of play, particularly on offense. The last 3 games, the Raiders offense was absolutely rolling in the first half, only to be stopped to a halt. John Gruden and the offense is great at identifying matchups and knowing how to attack them. The problem is, the opponents adjust after halftime. This game, the Raiders knew the mismatches they had in Jared Cook and Amari Cooper. Rather than showing everything, they mixed it up and called the money plays in the fourth quarter. The Raiders' offensive tackles aren't as big a problem as expected. Rookie Colton Miller is playing better than expected, and fellow rookie Brandon Parker had to step in with a hurt Donald Penn. While they're not playing like all pros, they didn't exactly play like rookies either. There will be growing pains, and Miller's run blocking needs work. Facing Myles Garrett and the Browns' pass rush is a big test. Now, let's hope they learn, because next up is the Chargers with Ingram and maybe Joey Bosa, arguably the best pass rushing duo in the NFL. Lastly, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much with this win. It was against the Browns at home, and they won in overtime by a field goal against a rookie quarterback. This was not a good win, and by no means are the Raiders a good team. Hopefully, this is the turning point for the offense though. This was the Derek Carr and John Gruden offense that we all hope to see coming into the season. If the Raiders are going to win many more games this season, it's going to have to be a shootout with Derek Carr going off. Hey, it sounds a lot like 2016.